Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
November 13th, the Friday the 13th edition. And we begin with a story from Aljazeera. A top South African ANC official is due in court over corruption allegations. Police have issued an arrest warrant against Ace Magalushiul, Secretary General of the ANC. He told reporters he's done nothing wrong and he assured the party he will appear in court. He is the ANC Secretary General and in charge of running the day-to-day operations of the party since it's governed South Africa in 1984. His arrest could have potential significant political and legal ramifications if he's to leave or resign his influential position. Next up, from the Washington Post, President-elect Biden taps proponents of stricter Wall Street rules for his agency review team during the transition. He's tapped a number of fierce advocates for Wall Street regulation to his agency review teams, a sign that he could be quickly preparing to take stock of the deregulatory dump and, frankly, disaster of the Trump years and the Trump administration. Many of these new advisors who expected to serve in roles during the transition are veterans of the Obama administration and have played vocal roles in the past, pushing for even tighter oversight on Wall Street as well as stricter consumer protection rules. Obviously, President Trump decreed that there would be no consumer protection in the United States and did everything he could to gut the CFTC. Next up, Pfizer is in the news, as you might expect, from the New York Times with how it plans to distribute its vaccines. For months, scientists, public health experts, and others have been saying the most crucial part of diffusing the COVID-19 pandemic will be developing a safe and effective vaccine. It certainly was cause for celebration this week when Pfizer announced that early analysis of its vaccine candidate was more than 90% effective. Now the drug maker, the government, and the public health community faces a new challenge, quickly mailing millions of doses of the vaccine, getting them to hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies where they can be injected 2 separate times into people's arms. It's going to be a heck of a logistic project. And remember, we're a PG podcast, so that's as strong a language as we get around here. But the drug has to be kept at minus 31 degrees during shipping, and that temperature maintained stored rather at minus 70 Celsius, that's 94 Fahrenheit, and right up until shortly before it's injected into someone's arms. That's the temperature of the South Pole on a winter day, and colder than any of the other leading vaccines. So there's going to be logistical nightmares. There's going to be just the shortage of drugs itself, and of course, in America, we have lots of anti-vaxxers, so they're, I'm sure, going to complicate the situation as well. And finally, from the Wall Street Journal Risk and Compliance Journal, Jack Hagel reporting, companies, the COSO, Committee of Sponsoring Organizations of the Treadway Commission, says that companies should create closer links between their compliance departments and risk managers who are the focus of an array of corporate hazards. The guidance released by COSO encourages organizations to better coordinate risk management, compliance, and ethics to strengthen protections against legal and regulatory pitfalls. This is certainly welcome news for the compliance profession, as a more integrated approach will lead to greater operationalization of compliance. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.